Yo, yo, yo. What's going on? If anybody's in here, it doesn't look like it. It's fine. It's fine that I'm by myself. It's fine that nobody wants to hang out with me on these sessions. I don't mind. Okay. Well, if anybody's watching this later after the fact, we are kind of picking up where we left off in the last live video. And I actually have my chat turned on this time so that whenever you do come and hang out with me, I can see it. I was an idiot last time and had it set to made for kids. Anyways, where we left off last time, and I'll summarize kind of what I did in the last video. I have recordings of a live band in their rehearsal studio. Everybody tracked all at once. Live drums, live bass, live guitars, live vocals. I tempo mapped all of the songs because they did not play to a click, and I mapped out the sections of the songs. And then I used that tempo map, those sections, and the Cubase function of mapping audio to tempo to make a master comp track. And that hour-long video, that's what I did for one of the versions of the songs. And now I'm ready to pick back up where I left off. Behind the scenes, though, I did take the time to load this audio into a template where I'd mixed the other two songs from that session. And so we're gonna kind of go over the mix that I have of this song and how it's gonna print down. But I still have some more editing to do. So here I'm going to print down a MIDI kick and snare triggers. And then I'm going to move stuff around so that like my guitar solos are on their own separate tracks. I'm going to fake doubles. And yeah, we're just going to turn this from a live rehearsal room production to more of a finished studio production. It's still not going to be like full finished studio production, but it's going to sound pretty good. Yeah. And the band has heard masters of the other two songs that we worked on, and they're super happy with it. So yeah, my job on that end is pretty well done. Okay, so let's get started here. Let's do a little refresher of what the song sounds like. So yeah, it's just hard rock, grungy stuff. It's pretty cool. It's fun. It's exciting. I'm going to make it even more fun and more exciting. If I can. The best I can. Okay, so here's my kick drum right here. And now let's edit our thresholds so that we can actually print down some kick sounds. I'm going to go ahead and solo this. I would like to say that this kick mic is an AKG D112, just right kind of halfway inside the hole, pointing up at the beater. So, yeah, whatever. And you're hearing some processing on it currently, so there's a whole bunch of EQ and compression on it. Yeah, deal with it. I think if I do this, you'll hear it sound raw. Yep, that's what it sounds like just right off the mic. Okay, so let's go through, zoom in a little bit further, because there's going to be some spots where I actually see some double hits. And that is going to be kind of what I'm looking out for. Otherwise, he hit pretty consistently, so I shouldn't have too many missed triggers. Oh, right there. See? Missed one. And if I take a look back, so we're trying to get on the upswing, so I'm going to just pop it right there. Cool. And just doing this for the whole song. This is boring and tedious. And that's why people like me get paid to do this stuff sometimes. Okay, so hit Tom there. I could probably do this a little bit faster, but hey, we actually got it. On these, I like to double check to make sure that we're actually getting the transient in there. It's not too far off. Cool. Oh, there's another one. Let's see how that is. Okay, cool. Uh-oh. Okay, there we go. My Cubase is kind of maxed out. I'm gonna turn off some plugins real quick, just cause it is not looking happy with me right now. You know what? Turn you off. Turn you off. Turn you off. Shadow Hills, AMAC. That's probably fine for right now. Fine enough. Fine enough. Yeah. I really need to get a new awesome computer. One of the Mac M1s might be calling my name soon. So I'm just going through and looking for mist triggers. Oh, let's check out this section right here. All right, so it looks like that trigger is missed. Move it so it's a little bit closer. And then that one needs to hit the upswing. Cool, cool, cool. That one is good. Let's double check to make sure that they're getting where they need to. Cool. I'm gonna make this a little bit bigger, I guess. Okay. And onward. Dun dun dun. Dun 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 dun. Boring and tedious. Oop, thought I missed trigger. Let's see how well. Okay, that's looks like it's the right spots. Ooh, that's a nasty little flub, but probably right there should be fine. I'll pull you over there. Great. Oh, don't like that. There we go. So if I were to have left this one where it was, whenever I trigger a sample, that one hit would be out of phase because all of my other hits are on the upslope, and that one started out on a downslope. And that's why I'm kind of correcting those little things as I go. Just in case somebody watching this stream wanted to ask. I'm going to move that one over a little bit. Cool. Same thing here. And always save. Every single time. You make a move, hit that Command S or Control S or whatever it is that you do. It's a weak hit. This one over just a hair. Scoot that one over. So if you're wondering what command I'm hitting to go from transient to transient, in the edit window right here, I'm just hitting N to go forward and B to go back. It's like tab to transient in Pro Tools. Slide this guy over a little bit. It probably wouldn't have mattered too much, but might as well. That's a little out. A little closer. I'd like to see a little bit more like that. There we go. Get those at the zero crossing. Here. Cool, cool, cool. See if anybody's even hanging out with me at this point. Nope. What do I expect? It's 1 o'clock on a Friday afternoon. Everybody's got their severance hangover going. Nobody wants to hang out. It's fine. I'm not mad. Not even disappointed. I'm a little disappointed. But it's okay. I've got this project to work on and to finish. And at some point you'll hear this released. Because I know the band is excited about it, and they've already shared just the MP3s from my Dropbox file on their Facebook page, which is their prerogative. Edit, edit, edit. Okay. All right, let's. Still got a long ways to go. That's good. For here, we're going to have a double hit. See? There. Double, double, double. Okay, cool. Missed hit right there. A weird, stupid hit right there. Come on, missed a couple. That one right there, and then this one needs to move over. That's eventually what it's going to sound like. A little bit closer over there. That's fine, that's fine, that's good. Okay, cool. Go. Cool, great. Oh, that's a double hit. This is not the most glamorous job in the world, I have to tell you. Is that a double hit? It's like a really quick, flammy thing. Yep, I'm gonna count it. I'll scoot you over. I think from here on out, it should be pretty simple. Yep. Yeah. Just a hair. Is that? Didn't mean to move that guy. You know what? I'm going to leave that one right there. Because I think that might be a quick miss. I don't know if that's supposed to be a real hit or a miss hit. But I'm going to print it and save it just in case. And then if I need to later, whenever I'm listening back, I can delete it. All right. Cool, cool, cool. Fix this one. Cool. And working 9 to 5. What a way to make a living. Sorry. All right, cool, looking great. Ooh, I want to go back to this one. There we go. Oh, nope, nope, nope. Looking good. Hopefully I'm not missing anything. But if I am, we'll find out. Shoot over just a hair. Shoot you over just a hair. And you. Oh, missed. Missed one. Right there. Am I done? I think I'm done. Cool. All right, so now let's render this stuff to MIDI. So I'm going to click on my snare or my drum samples track up here, just to make sure that that's my target destination. And then I hit Command A to highlight this whole ass region and all of these hit points. And then I hit MIDI notes, leave it as dynamic velocity, choose C1 for selected track, bam. And now I click over here and I've got all of my drums triggered. I'm just going to raise up the level so that like it's kind of all just consistently loud. And I'll go ahead and solo my drum MIDI track. This is what my drum samples are going to sound like. And this is the actual final mix for all the other songs and how everything sounds. So I'm not using much of the MIDI. Like, I'm not using much of the direct mics. What I am using quite a bit of, I'll hide that and make this big. What I am using quite a bit of are these room tracks right here. I've got really good punch from the actual direct mics that I recorded. I'm pretty pleased with them. But what I didn't have was a whole lot of space because, well, I didn't put up room mics, because the guitars were loud and the vocals were in there and the bass was loud. So I'm using these samples to kind of emulate a room. Cool. So let's hear the drum or the kick drum all together with everything. Right, that's the kick by itself. And then the samples just add a little bit of extra consistency here and there on the direct end, but they also add a little bit of space and roomy vibe to the sound. Cool. So that's one track done. Unfortunately, now I have to do the same thing with the fucking snare. And the snare is, you know, it's its own beast. I'm not going to get too finicky with the snare. You can see he's got some pretty wild hits. If I come down here, that should be able to grab them all. Or at least the big ones. And one thing that I'm not going to bother doing on this one is go after the ghost notes. Like, that's just, I don't care. I don't care about ghost notes. We got a little build up right here. do want to get this, though. All those little flams. I think... I'm going to have to listen to this. This one's... So on this one, the snare transient starts on the downward position. The rarefaction of the wave, as opposed to the compression, which is whatever. It's on the downward side. So whenever I place my new hit points, I'm going to look for a spot on the downward side. And that, to me, it's right there. Okay. Yeah. That one needs to get fixed. I'll zoom in and make sure it's nice and on the mark, on the money. Cool. And I'm actually going to do a lot more listening of the snare as I'm printing it down, so I'll do it more in real time with the track. Kicks are generally easier to see and fix just by kind of eyeballing it, but sometimes with snare, like if he does a little roll, or if maybe there is a ghost note that needs to get brought out and triggered, or there's a weak hit, since it's a bit more of a dynamic instrument than a kick drum, I'm going to listen and actually hear the intent and see what's going on. And again, I want to reiterate that I do not care about the ghost notes in this point. I am mostly using these MIDI triggers on this one to trigger a room sound. And you're just not going to hear much of the ghost notes in a room sound. Right? Much like with the kick mic, I'm mostly using roomy sounding samples. So I just want it to sound like it's in a space. Did I miss it? There it is. Do 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 do. You up? There we go. There's one that looked odd to me. Where was it? Yeah, fuck it. Yep, that was it. I think that was it. Boring as sin. I'm sorry for anybody who's watching. But this is what I do. You don't have to do all this work if you want to make stuff sound good, but I like to. I feel like it's a value add. Fuck is texting me. Nope. Ooh. There we go. Try that one. Maybe I'll do that one right there. Yeah. Well, such a weird. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do that one. Flams are the worst. Cool. I hate flams. If you drummers could just never ever play a flam again, I would love it. I don't care how cool they sound. Just a big pain in my ass. There's another fucking flam. Another one. What do we even need all these flams for? Can't hum a flam. It's nonsense. Another one. Another fucking flam. Listen to this. Look, right there. Flam. Never triggering a flam again. Alright. Make sure that they're lined up. Okay. Cool. Cool. We're only in the chorus. It's okay. The first chorus didn't come in until halfway through the song. It did verse, pre-chorus, tag, verse 2, pre-chorus 2, and then the chorus. So we're doing it. Except for that one right there. That one's not doing okay. Flam, man. Why? You just hit the flam? The quick little thing because you want to fuck with me? I think they're doing it on purpose now. Drummers, if you send me tracks with a lot of flams, I'm just not going to edit it. Everything's single hits. I'm not even going to do fills anymore. Ugh. Oh, there's some small hits over here that... I missed it. Okay, good enough. On that one. All right, I'm going to zoom in, check these things out, make sure they're actually lined up on the transient where they're supposed to be. That one's not. Well, maybe it was. Maybe. Okay. Ah, fucking flam. Killing me. There we go. There we go. Ooh, that was a little late. There we go. Cool, 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 cool. All right. And, ooh, that was way early. Stupid transient. And that one is incorrect right there. And we're starting verse 3. Excellent. Goddamn flam. Why was that one so off? Sometimes I don't understand the Cubase hit point detection. Like everything right here is quite a bit earlier than it's supposed to be. But that's okay. Not going to make a big deal out of it. It's still doing generally pretty solid work. Except it's not detecting damn flams. Now you might be saying, well, Alex, why are you doing this? Why don't you just use like Slate Trigger to do all this? And I could, but Slate Trigger is not as accurate as this, and it definitely would not pick up the flams, at least not as well as, and I have to go through and edit that shit too. And if I'm gonna do it, I might as well do it. Yeah, no. Okay. Is that it? I think that's it. Sweet. All right, so shrink that guy down, come up to my snare sample track, hit that, Command A to select everything on this thing, and then my snare MIDI is going to go on D1. I hit 4 to turn on my glue tool, and then I glue my MIDI tracks together. So now I've got all my snares right here. Bam. I'm going to, like, it's pretty wildly dynamic. So I'm going to actually, here's my, that's the one. I'm going to make them a little bit more even, and then crank them all the way up, or not all the way up, but pretty far up. So now here's my kick and snare MIDI together. Right, it's very, very roomy and adds roomy sound to that. So let's listen to my drums all together now. And let's listen to the drums without my samples. Right, I'm adding ambience. I'm not adding direct hits, and I'm not changing the consistency and completely replacing what I had in there. But I am making it a little bit more vibey. Cool. And let's go ahead and do a few other things. So now I've got my bass track over here, and I need to copy that to my other bass tracks that I've got laid down. Come on, come on. Stupid. I'm holding down Alt to make a copy, and then I hit the Control button to lock it to the region. So now here's my bass. So the DI is just has some mid-range taken out. That was the recording right off the back of the amp. On here, I've got Cubase's VST bass amp, but all it's doing is using this bass driver bit, like a Sans amp. And then I've got the MPEG SVT right over here, loaded up with Recabinet from Kazrog, which they stopped making this plugin, which is stupid because it was excellent. But I've got some of their speaker cab sims for a bass amp up there, and then I've got more junky mid-range taken out and more awesome mid-range bushed up, and then filtering out some low end, and then compressed the fuck. bit of the bass Sans amp, which is the same kind of trick, just without, set a little bit different. I'm not using that a whole lot. Not using that a whole lot in the mix. And then bass sub, which is Brainwork subsynth with this range turned up. And then all the top end filtered out. So it's giving me a little bit of extra subby girth. And then that's all going through this chain over here. So giving a little bit of the top end clarity back, pulling out some more junky click sound, some tubby, and then filtering out some super low end stuff. Giving a little bit of compression, a little bit more compression, like really not even doing anything. Pulling some of the note out, pulling some clarity out. And then the Cubase limiter. Like, why do you even need fucking L1 whenever you've got this thing? It's not even doing anything aside from catching some just stray peaks. And then a little bit more EQ. There was just a lot of junk right up there whenever I started dialing the mix together. So I know it looks like I'm using a ton of EQ to do a whole bunch of, like, why I could just do all this with one EQ. But as I started diving into the mix, I would just hear things that were bothering me. And so I'd add like another EQ at the end of the chain just to kind of treat random trouble spots that I was hearing. Because I like the overall tonal character. I just needed to tuck things back. So that's my bass. And overall, that's pretty well done. Let's move on to guitars because I do need to do some work on these as far as editing goes. Like, I need to get rid of that right there. You know what? So I'm using Helix Native on both of these guitars. Just straight how they are. One thing I'm going to do, though, is make sure that my noise gate is turned on. And I'm just going to turn it to, like, that. All right, helps get rid of some of that shit. Actually, you know what? I'm going to turn that off. I'm going to... Yeah, fucking, I'll leave it on. Yeah. And I'm just using Tube Screamer. This has the JCM 2204 and then Vintage 30 cab. And that's it. That's my mic. And that's the guitar setup. It's a pretty simple setup in the room. As it was, I don't need anything fancy. And then this is my channel EQ, getting rid of some junk, getting rid of some, or adding in some presence. This guitar is similar but different. I had to use this pitch block because his guitar had a one of those drop tune pedals to knock him down 2 steps. As opposed to just completely retuning, which that's fine. But again, similar but different with the archetype lead. I forget what the archetype is. Maybe it's not the Rev. It's the PRS Archon. That's what this guy is. And then I think it's the exact same cab. Pretty much, yeah. So similar but different. And turn that off? That's weird. I don't know why that was bypassed. I don't think that should have been bypassed. No EQ. I am using a reverb send to give it some room junk in the mix. Anyways, let's get back to editing, because that's what I really wanted to talk about, especially when it comes into the solo right here. Are the yeah. Cool. Are they playing a little bit ahead? I thought I fixed all this shit. Okay. I need to fix something real quick. I think. Yeah, all these things. Right there. Just need to line up right to that grid. Yeah. That's weird. Okay. So that's solved. Where's my solo? Or no, my bridge. There we go. Bridge. Right here, I'm going to copy. I'm going to steal this guitar part right here. All the way here to here. And I'm going to command, whoa. Yeah, that's fine. Copy that, come down to my guitar B where I have my guitar solo, and paste. And I'm going to do the same thing kind of down here. And this is part of the mixing process. I'm faking some stuff. Let's mute my vocals for the time being. There we go. Okay. And then that's the button that I need. So now, whenever the guitar on the left goes up to the lead, it's got a completely different tone to help distinguish it as a lead. And then this guitar over here is now somewhat doubled. And so it's going to fill out the space a little bit better. So yeah, you can see I've got Helix Native. It's going to a delay and a reverb. And it's got a slightly different tone setup on there. Cool. And then here is my 2 guitars in this section. So on guitar fake left, that's the fake double, it's my Helix Native, and I just added a simple pitch to turn it down a few cents and put a little delay on it. And then I think I have a... Yeah, I think I copied my guitar on the left channel. So that's faking my double. Yay, production tricks. And I might actually do that. And you know what? Let's do that. Cool. And then the last thing we need to do is look at vocals. Oh yes, I need to edit MIDI. So snares and build-ups like this are notoriously stupid. So that's my build-up. And I'm going to go a little bit like this. Okay, let's get on to the mix stage. I'm going to turn on some of those plugins, and my computer's not going to like me very much, but it's time. Okay. Save, save, save. So clean that up a little bit. That's my verse right there. I'm going to pull you up just a hair. And I'm going to pull this shit down just a bit. Oh yeah, I also need to clean up on my background vocals. So on this stuff, I did wind up running spectral layers just to get rid of, or just to give me like an extra 10 decibels of silence, I guess. I didn't bother doing that on the background vocals because it's actually pretty quiet.
Now you sleep with the dead.
Yeah, it's pretty simple to EQ and compress and like just do all of that shit because he only sings in those few sections.
Sleep with the dead. Now you.
All right, so.
Now you sleep with the.
Trim it up, trim it up.
Now you sleep with the dead. 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 With the dead.
Cool. So that section is taken care of, and I've got one more chorus to do. And if you're not familiar with the songs that you're working on, definitely do listen. I'm kind of breezing through this because I've listened to this song at this point about 3,000 times.
Now you sleep with the dead. Now you sleep with the dead.
Add little fades, but it doesn't sound like complete shit. Dead. Little fade. Dead. I know, this is exciting, riveting stuff, right? You don't need to tell me that. I mean, you could tell me that. You just don't need to. Save, save, save. At some point, my computer is going to crash. Like, I'm just... feel like I just need to warn everybody about that. Like, it's not happy with me right now. All right. Tag. Okay. verse 2. Let's raise you up quite a bit. Something like this. Oh, man. Okay, so whenever you use spectral layers, sometimes Cubase turns incredibly stupid, and it doesn't display the waveform properly. Like, we just all heard. Right. I totally forgot that I had a separate track of vocals up here. But sometimes Cubase is stupid and will not display the waveform properly. I'm just going to go ahead and turn that thing up right there. And the solution that I've found to getting this thing fixed is by adding in like this right here. Just don't even do anything. Just hit apply, and that'll fix whatever waveform issues that you have down here. It's a handy, handy trick. Okay, so I have weird things set up differently between these two channels. So what I'm going to do is, instead of doing that, and I'm going to go back over here to these other two songs real quick. Oh, fuck. I didn't even realize. Okay. That explains a little bit. I'm going to put that right there. Mute you. Cool. This is kind of how the song's supposed to be. So let's take a minute to break down the mix and see what is being done on everything. So these are my kick samples, my room samples. You know, my kick samples have just a little bit of EQ, taking out a whole bunch of 5K and just shit mid-range. My room samples just have a reverb plugin put on them to give them a little bit of extra space. I'm not using any tom samples. Okay. Then let's go ahead over to my actual drum mics. So this is the recorded mics. It's honestly just a whole bunch of EQ and compression from the SSL channel from Brainworks. Top end, mid range, bottom end, a little bit of compression. That's my kick drum, my kick in, my D112, with nothing else on it. You're only hearing this EQ. That's the sound right off the mic. That's an AKG. Which one is it? 214. 214. The cheap intro version that doesn't even have a puller pattern on it. Just right outside the mic. This is it as it was recorded. And that's it with some EQ. Snare top. Now it's just a 57. With a little bit of EQ and compression. So, like, that's kind of all I'm doing is just a little bit of EQ and compression, and then my toms I have on with a gate on. My overhead hat and ride. Pulling out a whole bunch of low end. Right, if I look up here, 250 on down, and then a little bit of EQ and some compression. Just to kind of take care of the snare. The behind the head, the rabbit ears, ribbon mics. Pulling out mid-range. Little bit of EQ and compression just to kind of make it sound a little bit bigger. Hi-hat mic. This is actually a cheap little CAD CM217. I think it's a shitty mic. It has, yeah. But it records a hi-hat fine. And I just brought up a little bit of top end and pulled out a whole bunch of junk. So here. That's it. That's all you need, man. So those are my drums. And they're all going into their own individual channels, which is a lot. So this is the kick with everything. I'll do it one at a time. So kick. Some top end, some bottom end, pulling out some flubby mid-range. Compression, not doing a whole lot. And then a Pultec from Cubase. Adding in a fuck ton of low end, a little bit of top, and scooping out some mid-range. And then I wound up getting silly with EQ. Because whenever I was dialing in the mix, it was just like all 5K, like 4 and 5K on the kick. And it was just it was just overwhelming. It punched through like nobody's fucking business. Whenever I was listening to my headphones on the car, and I was like, oh, I mean, it's kind of cool, but it's just like, it was a lot. So these next 2 bits of EQ are that, to get rid of that ugly ass mid-range. Right, and make it sit. Snare, EQ, frequency, like it's just a ton of EQ, just to make shit fit. And dynamic EQ, because this is pulling out again some more ugly mid-rangey frequency shit. And that SSL channel is doing a ton of work. Toms were a pain in the ass because, I don't know, I've decided that I don't like the Audix DP microphones, the Audix D2 and the D4. I don't think I like them very much on toms. Let me find a good tom section. Yeah. I do really like this Pultec EQ that's built into Cubase. Like, it sounds good, man. Like, it's probably not as great as the Universal Audio shit, or maybe even Waves. I don't know, but like, it's good. It does the trick that I like. So a little bit of EQ, more top, more bottom, more mid scoop. And then what is this guy? This is the compressor. This is actually a cool plugin. It's a distressor emulation clone. So it does a lot to help. And then this multi-band compressor top end, because there'd be times whenever the top end of the toms get just thwacked and it peaks out and it's ugly. So here. So just listen to the high end. Cool. Pulls that out, and then some transient shaping just to kind of make the toms not ring out as much and to give them a little bit of extra spank. Cool. Overheads. This limiter to kind of kill the snare. Cool. Let's see, what the fuck is this guy? Pulling out some ugly mid-range, giving a little bit of a low-end boost. Pulling out some, yeah, just doing a whole bunch of little shit. And that's a dynamic EQ to just kind of help keep the top end on the cymbals from getting super overwhelming. Cool. My room mic is actually the rabbit ear overheads. Oh, the room mic is also the drum samples, the room samples, and it's just flat. There's nothing to them. Everything is done on their own channels. Cool. With that, I've also added in parallel channels. Here's my drum parallel for my bus. All right, so it's just squashing all the shells, and then here is just kick and snare. And that's squashing just the kick and the snare together with a DBX 160 style compressor that was free from Analog Obsession. Woo! Let's see. Compression, EQ, not a whole lot on this one. Let me give you a better turnaround time. So nothing too crazy right there. Yeah. That was drums. Guitars we've kind of gone over and talked about. I don't know if I need this on guitar A. Might as well. It's not doing a ton. Let's see. What else is there that I need to go over? Oh, vocals. On each individual channel is a frequency EQ, which just pulling out some mid-range, pulling out some low-end, and Vox Comp, which is like an R-Comp style compressor. And it's really not doing too much, especially on the quieter sections. Let's go to my chorus. Just a few dB on it, and then it is feeding this bus, which is, surprise, surprise, my SSL channel, which is a lot of top end, some more mid-range, pulling out some ugly mid-range, filtering out some low end, not doing any compression here, which is weird. Normally I do a little bit on that one. This black box saturator, and then this juicy plugin. Only doing a little bit, but then it is also feeding this vocal bus right over here, which has this little purple 1176 on it, which is doing a little bit, and then it's got this little guy, which is a fun little trick that I've seen somebody else do. Anyway, so I set my attack fast, set my release pretty fast. I pull this guy down low with my ratio at 1:1. And then I start increasing this ratio slowly until I get a couple dB gain reduction. That is death upon your door. Yeah! You sleep with the dead. And then it just kind of works to gently lock all that shit together. Like it catches everything, and it makes it smooth and up front, and like, yeah. It's just one of those little things. And then let's see. Here's my verbs. Usual suspects over here. I finally picked up this LX480 reverb for my room verb, medium vocal room. Valhalla room is my kind of drum gated reverb that you hear right there. Ping pong verb, which I'm not using. Little micro shift. I'm using that Relab 480 for my plate. Standard 8th, quarter, and 16th note delays. My Weird Leslie channel is on my vocals, and we can listen to that real quick. So, it works really, really well. That is death upon your door. Yeah! You sleep with the dead. So it gives it a little bit of extra zazz factor. I'll play the full mix and you can hear it without it. So you don't notice it when it's there in the mix, but whenever it goes away, you kind of miss it. So that's my favorite vocal processor trick. Do a little breakdown. It is a ping pong delay. Eighth note, cool, a little bit of feedback. It is some distortion. It is a plate reverb. That's about 60% wet, 60% dry, or 40% dry. And then a rotary emulation plugin thingamabobber. And then it's getting compressed just a hair. Right, you just saw the thing get tickled a little bit on a loud note. And then filtering out highs and lows. And then this isn't being used. I don't think this is being used. I made an SPX 90 channel. I'm not actually using it on this mix, which is weird. This normally is what I would use on the bass. It's kind of like an Andy Wallace sort of thing. So here's my bass track. Man, maybe I should turn it on. I've already mixed everything and it's already mastered. But anyways, I saw another YouTube guy doing this. It's Space Modulator from Valhalla. It's that just right there. And then Valhalla Room to give it a little bit of reverb. And it's an Andy Wallace trick. If you want to find the YouTuber guy who initially showed off the trick, his name is JP Henry. And it's on his Andy Wallace Bass Techniques trick. Thanks, JP. Let's see. And then the last thing I have is shimmer on my inserts, which I'm also not using, but I should. And this is one of those. This is one of the reasons why you should get a guitar multi-effect plugin, like Helix or Amplitude, or something like that just has a whole lot of shit built into it. Because right here I'm using Helix, and I'll turn it on so you can hear it, but I'm using this shimmer verb that's built in, along with a delay. And let me go ahead and turn it on. I don't think it's on anywhere.
That is death upon your door. Yeah!
But it's just one of those cool, weird effects. Let's see if it actually works in the track. So, no, definitely not good for the track, but could be cool somewhere. And I have used it in a track elsewhere. I'm just going to go ahead and turn that off just so it's not eating up any extra DSP. And then let's see, what else do we have? On my drums and percussion bus, I've got, as always, I've got my Lindell Neve bus to give it some console saturation, whatever. Drums have the Shadow Hills mastering compressor. Give it an extra little bit of squeeze and some tonality. Guitars have this fucking thing on it. A little bit of compression. We already went over the vocals. And my master bus has my Townhouse compressor. Is surprisingly not doing a fucking thing. And then it's got this AMEC EQ, which is just adding a little bit of brightness and pulling out a little gross low mids. And then frequency, which is kind of controlling that 100 hertz area and pulling out some ugly frequencies. And I do not have my limiter on right now because I'm going to master this in a separate session. And yeah, that's it. Wow, is that really it? Not using that, not using that, not using that. Cool. I think I went over everything that I needed to go over for this section. So, like I said, it's a pretty simple mix, pretty simple session. It's just, you know, the editing is where this took the bulk of its time. So, I think I'm going to end this video, print this down, master it, and then it's going to be released somewhere sometime soon. Yeah, the band is Last Rejection. This is our guerrilla recording. Yeah, watch the first video if you haven't, because then in that one I go over kind of what the room looked like, how we had everything set up, and yeah. Until we meet again, I am Alex and you are not. Thanks for hanging out with me or watching or whatever. Bye.